createdtheottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up here in the UK. Thank you for joining me and giving up some of your craft time to craft with me. This is my weekly craft along video. I try and post a new one every Friday, life permitting. I show you easy, simple, fun fold cards, albums and all sorts actually with paper crafting, and try and make them as simple for you as possible, and also to use up what you have as well as bring some new elements into it. This in fact is an old design. This is a Bendy card. If you've not seen one of them before, it is what it says on the tin. It's a Bendy card, but it folds flat so you can post it, so it's really handy. You can jazz it up or down as much as you want, and that's one of those cards that you keep in your back pocket when you want a bit of a wow make, not just a normal card, and you produce it. So I'm going to show you step by step how to make this in this version. Now you can see on mine I've used some die cutting elements from Stampin' Up, which I'll talk you through in a minute. The back panel, there's a panel piece here. You could just use it as a stamping area. So you could stamp a lovely little scene there, or some nice floral add-ons there, or actually anything you wanted, and just use that as your wow piece on your card. I wanted to keep this really simple, so times when you've lost your craft mojo and you're just a bit stuck and don't know how to get yourself going, this is one of those cards I would say pick it up, give it a go, and you'll be away and running again. You can connect with me on Facebook or Instagram. I do, like I say, weekly YouTube videos, so there's loads for you to go back to. I also really love it when you get in touch. So you can get in touch with me at createdtheottaway@gmail.com. Share your crafty makes. If you've done one of my videos and you're really pleased with how it came out, share a picture with me. I love it. If you've made one and you're not so pleased and you want a bit of help, get in touch. That's what I'm here for. I love to talk craft. So shall we stop waffling and get on? What did I use in my make today? Let's move that out the way. So like I said, I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. I use Stampin' Up products because they are fantastic. They coordinate so easy. It takes a lot of the stress out of what I'm making. So I've used the Take to the Sky suite. What that means is that you can buy everything in one go. There's stamp and die set, embellishments and papers, and you can just buy it as a whole big suite. You can just buy the stamps and dies together and save 10%, or you can just buy one bit. I mean, for this card I've just used the paper and the dies. It depends what your budget is. There's something for everyone. I love it because it's like a vintage biplane. I have got other plane sets, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, yes, that is going in my shopping basket, because I just know I'm going to come back to it time and time again. And as it is, I've got barely any paper left, so I can't even really show you it. Not in the flesh. Look, that's it. That is the sum total of my paper, apart from a few snippets of bits of pieces that I've used for today's make. So that is going back in my shopping basket. So what do you need for today's make? You just need some card. You need 3 pieces of card. I'm going to leave that there so you can screenshot it. I've done it in inches and centimetres, so hopefully one of those suits you. You just need a piece of base card at the back. So this time, well, I've used the same. I've gone for Night of Navy, so you need a piece like that. And that is covered by this area here. And then you need the middle panel, which I've gone for Night of Navy, my back card, and Misty Moonlight for my middle piece, just because I love the contrast. And then a front strip for the bottom that I've used Night of Navy again. So I will run through those with you in a minute. The designer series paper that I'm using is from the suite that I mentioned, Take to the Skies. I've gone for navy again because I really like navy. That is going to be my middle panel, and this piece is going to be my bit along the front. Okay. What did I use for my embellishments? So in the die set, Adventurous Sky dies, if you just go for the dies, you've got these two bits here which make just those two pieces make that aeroplane there. So it's really simple. You just die cut them both out and then layer them together and your job done. Honestly, that's what I mean when I say it takes all the hard work out of it. It's all done. They also have got a stamp set, and that exactly fits onto some of the dies. So if I take the big cloud, for instance, you die cut the cloud and then you can stamp it as well. So really lovely set to go for. I think that's it. Should we craft? Stop chatting, Claire, and just craft. Okay, so you've got the sizes. Screenshot that. Come back to those in a minute. The same as I will. And I'm going to get my card. Now I have already cut loads of mine because time is precious and you don't have to keep fast forwarding loads in this video. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Up trimmer. It's got a scoring blade and a cutting blade. Always double check which one you are using because quite often, more times than I'd like to admit really, I have cut when I meant to score. There's not too much scoring on this one, so you'll be okay. So the back piece, I've gone for Night of Navy, and this is, bearing in mind I'm in the UK, so I'm using UK sizes. It's 4 1/8 by 5 7/8, and that will fit in a standard UK envelope. Now this card is really easy to resize. It really is. So work out what base card you want just by getting hold of your envelope and seeing what size fits in it, and then cutting this to that size. So just to repeat, 4 1/8 by 5 7/8 is the size that I'm using in the UK. So I'm just going to check myself. 4 1/8 and 5 7/8. Okay, and then we're going to concentrate on that piece first. So the next thing I need is some designer series paper to go over the back. Now you may decide that you don't want to put any designer series paper on it. It's entirely up to you. This is your card. I'll talk you through the steps that I've done and you go off and make it your own. So I don't know if I've cut this to size, but it actually looks like it. So I've got my 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and the designer series paper, I like just 1/8 of an inch difference, just so that it gives a tiny border and not a big chunky border. But you might find that you like 1/4 of an inch as a border, so adjust yours accordingly. Remember, it's your card. So this paper is 4 inches by 5 3/4, and I'm going to glue that in place. Now I feel like I'm at the end of this glue, but we will give it a go and see what happens. Oh, it's playing ball today. How nice for me. Thank you, Glue Fairy. That's very handy. Let's hope it stays that way. I always put the card down, the paper down when I'm putting glue on, because I just find that I have more control over where the glue goes. If you've watched my videos before, you are probably bored of me saying that, but it's true. Okay, so I'm just going to put that in the middle like so, just making sure there's a border all the way around, and I'm just flattening that down as much as possible on one side, and then I'm actually going to turn it over as well, because I really want this designer series paper to stick to my card really quite quickly and really flat. I don't want any tiny little air bubbles, which usually would just dry, because I'm going to score it, and I'm going to score it while it's still wet, so I don't want it to sort of have a weird sort of line down the middle of it. So I've just gone all over that with my bone folder and just made sure it's as flat as it can. Now I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to score it in half on the long side. Now for me, that is 2 15/16, which sounds horrendous, doesn't it? Okay, for you in centimetres it's 7.5. So if it's easier for you to just jump into the centimetre world, do it at 7.5 centimetres, because that is exactly the same as 2 15/16. So that's what I'm going to do on this card. I'm just going to do this one. Make sure you're scoring and not cutting at 7.5. Okay, and I'm going up and down that quite a few times because I really want to make sure that my score line is really crisp. Move that out the way, and I'm going to bring that round, and I'm just going to fold it and make sure that the paper has a memory of what I want it to do. So basically you're just telling it who's boss. Okay, so I'm just really affirming that on that side, and I'm really firming it on this side, and then when I open it you should have a nice crisp line down the middle. Okay, so that is our back piece. We're going to fold it, lay it down flat to decorate, but that is the back of our card. There, see, I told you it was easy. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to bring in my Misty Moonlight piece. Now this actually looks too big, so that must need cutting. Bring my paper trimmer back in, and this needs to be 5 3/8 by 3 1/8. So 5 3/8. Yep, it did need trimming. 5 3/8 by 3 1/8. Okay, and we're just cutting that to size, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to score on either end at 1/2 inch. Okay, so just at 1/2 inch on either end. So I'm going to score, take the cutting blade out the way and score, spin it round and do the other side 1/2 inch. What I tend to do is on the smaller sizes use this side as my guide, because my hand can hold my paper in place quite firmly while I line it up, and then if you press on this with your finger it will grip it. So there's my 1/2 inch score, that's there and there, and that leaves you with that shape and this piece here that you want to cover in designer series paper. So that piece that you need, decide what you want for that. I've already decided that I'm going to use this piece, and I've already cut it to size. So that needs to be 4 1/4 by 3 inches, and that is just going to be put just on there. So let's glue that in place. So that's 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And the glue's still working. There must be more in this than what I thought. It feels like it's quite empty. So there is great excitement at Created the Ottaway because my son and his lovely partner are just about due to have their second baby. It will be our second grandchild, and we are beyond excited. So it feels like we're all on edge waiting for the phone to go. Do you remember that feeling? Oh, so exciting. Yeah. They know what it is. I'm not going to tell you, but they know what it is, which is exciting. We didn't do that when I had children. You didn't want to know, and if they did told you, it was hardly ever right. That dates me, doesn't it? It makes me feel a bit old. So there you go. That is the middle panel. So we are ready to put that on, believe it or not. Now, there are loads of these simple, well, not so simple, bendy cards around with lots of variations where they layer them up, different amounts, do all sorts of fancy things. But I thought, do you know what, let's go back to basics and just do a really simple one. So I am not scoring this bit at all, but on some of them you will see that they're scored. And I'm not even measuring. I can see where my middle line is, and I'm going to line that up with my grid paper just to use that. But what I'm aiming for is placing that on there, okay? So I'm going to put glue on one tab, I'm just going to do it one side at a time. Now be careful not to put too much glue because you don't want it squirting all over the place. You could use double-sided tape if you prefer. And I'm just bringing that in there. And I'm just aiming roughly in the middle, okay? So this is the side that I glued, so I'm just going to hold that in place for a moment. And then I'm going to lift it up. I'm just going to use my bone folder to press down on that side and just make sure it's really nice and strong. Then I'm going to put glue on the other tab, like so. And I'm going to bring that over, tuck it in, and again press down on it and just make sure that that's nice and straight and that the glue is holding. Now notice that I'm doing this, even though I've done a score on my back card, I'm doing it flat. So I'm making sure everything is flat, and that is so that when I post it or put it in the envelope, I know it's going to go flat. Okay, so now we're going to do a take a deep breath and bring the fold together, which will automatically bend your card. Now you shouldn't need to force it, just gently bring it like that. And can you see it automatically does a bend? There's no harsh crease and it's quite a nice, pleasing shape. There you go. Now what do we need to do? We need to add the bottom strip, okay? Just because it really makes it pop off of the card. So this strip needs to be 1 inch by 6 7/8. Again, I think I've already done it 1 by 6 7/8, but I am gonna check. So that's definitely 1, and I need to bring this arm out to do 6 7/8. And then what I'm going to do is score on either end of this, on the longer side, at 1/2 inch, okay? Just like so. So you end up with a piece like that, okay? Now I'm going to decorate that first, so I'm going to use some of this paper this time. And that needs to be 3/4 by, so 3/4 by, what was it, 6 7/8. So it need to be, because you're taking off the inch, be 5 7/8, and then you want a little bit less, so it'd be 5 3/4. So 5 3/4 by 3/4. And I am just going to glue that in place as well, and then that is done. Now you might decide that you want to put a stamp sentiment along this bit instead. There's quite a nice long length to do that on. I'm going to add mine as an embellishment afterwards. Oh, that is not right. Look at that. That's definitely not right. Do you know what it is? I haven't got any of that paper left. Okay, I'm just going to go with it. So I have obviously thought it doesn't matter because that's the only amount I've got left. That's all right. Okay. It is all right. Look, what have I done? Did you see? I forgot to fold over that side. So it was the right side. Let's see if I can rescue this because the glue's very wet. Oh, look at that. Please come off. You're the last little corner. You can do it. And no one will know. Wow, look at that. That was so lucky. Just a tiny little bit torn. Right, let's put some more glue on that. Fold both ends in. There you go. There's a top tip from Created the Ottaway. Fold both ends in so you know how wide you are sticking to. Okay, let's try again. And take 2. Okay, so I'm going to put it there, and then I'm going to press it along really nicely. Get that little tag bit off because that's from where I went wrong. and then I'm going to fold it over and press down on the other side, because if I press on top of that sticky bit, all that will happen is it will stick to me. Okay, let's have a look. That's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Okay, bring that back in. Now I'm going to what I need to do is, just before I glue it, check that this is the length of the front of my card. And then I'm going to put some glue on one tab, like so. And I'm going to make sure that meets in the bottom, there, like that. And then I'm going to stick the other side down, like so. And make sure that that's level. And then remember what we did last time, where we just helped it bend into shape. I'm going to do the same again. So that comes round like that. And I'm not creasing this bit, I'm just bending it. And there you have it. That is the base card. Folds flat for posting. When you open it, take it out of the card and stand it up, it automatically shapes itself because it's already got the bend there. Okay, let's decorate it. So I've got a few different bits. I've got one of the big clouds. I've got a little happy birthday sign. I've fussy cut one of the planes from here to go on the bottom. And then I've die cut some of the planes. So remember me showing you that die that looks like nothing? Well, if I poke out all the little bits that are in it, it will suddenly come to life. So I've just used a bit of silver card. I'm just getting all the little tiny bits out. There's a couple more there, one there. That is going there. Can you see? Look at that. And that will really pop off of the page as well. Okay, and then the background piece I've done in patterned paper, which I wasn't sure about, but it sort of looks like a woody effect. I could have used the Country Woods paper actually. I didn't think about that till this time. Oh, there's one left in there. So if I'd have been really organised, I would have die cut this on some adhesive sheet, because basically it turns your dies into stickers. Have you seen that Stampin'Up do? Oh my goodness, it is a lifesaver. So I am not putting glue on the top because that hangs over, but I'm putting glue on the bottom, and I'm looking for a point that I need to line up so the wheels look like a good point to make sure I'm in the right place. And then I can slide, because I've used Tumblr glue, the rest into place. Look at that, that looks really nice actually. So there's my biplane. What I haven't done is die cut a propeller. I need to go and do that. I'll add that afterwards. So how did I put mine together? So I actually started with the bottom bit where I wanted the happy birthday. Now on my original card, I put it that side. I think I might stick to the same, put it that side. So what I want it to do is actually, when it's popped out like that, I want it to stick out a bit. So I take my dimensionals and I'm going to cut one in half. Okay, and I'm going to just use half of it on the end that I want to stick up. So this bit, this end. Okay, and on the other end I'm just going to put a dab of glue. So I've got glue on one end, dimensional on the other, and I'm going to see whereabouts I want that, probably about there, so that when I shape my card it really does stick up and it just shows the shape of the card off better than if it was all sticking up. Does that make sense? And then this aeroplane I'm going to put on here. Okay, and I'm going to sort of do the same with that. I'm going to put a dimensional on one end, the bit that I want to be sticking up without too much help. So that end, and I'm going to put some glue on the other end just to attach to my card. There. Oh dearie me, just got a really dry throat. Okay, so can you see how that makes that pop off the page? Now the cloud I'm going to put here, okay, and the aeroplane I'm going to put there, and I'm going to put them on dimensionals because I want them to pop off. But also I'm thinking I like this one, You're the Best, plain and simple, so I'm going to stamp one of those as well and see if we can put that on together, and then we will be done. Okay, so I'm going to try and do this straight, which is never a good thing to do on camera, is it? So I'm using Misty Moonlight just because I love the colour, really. And I really like this sentiment. I'm going to turn it sideways just for my benefit, because I'm going to try and line it up. And what I'm also doing is using the bottom line because it's got a nice straight edge. So it looks like I'm stamping it upside down. Can you see there? Okay, I'm going to use my paper trimmer to trim it. And just try and get it in some sort of shape. There. And then I've got this old punch that does a pointy bit. I'm just going to line that up in there, because it just shapes the end. You could do that with scissors. Okay, and I'm just going to trim that off a bit, maybe there. Let's have a look, is that about the same size? Yeah. Okay, so that's going to go there. I am going to curl that a bit. Where's my bone folder? So I'm going to curl it round, not because of any reason, but I don't want it to get squashed by the card, so I'm going to give it a bit of a shape to start with. Glue on that bit. Just going to put glue straight on there, and that is going to go there like that, so it just sort of overhangs but doesn't go over the card. The cloud is going under that, and I'm going to use some dimensionals. But I'm not going to put loads because I want it to look like it's floating. So I'm just going to put one either end. Oh, and that is going to go there. And then before I do anything else, I just want to check that it still all stands up. Can you see what I mean by this bit here? It still stands up. It's not squished in or squashed. Then my plane is going to go here. I just need to add the propeller in a minute, and I'm going to do the same with the dimensionals on that. I'm going to put one at the front and one at the back, and that's it, because I want to give the plane a bit of movement. And again, what I meant to do is just shape the plane a bit. Right, you don't want it really curved, but just give the paper a bit of help of a curve. So I'm going to stick that there, and then I'm going to check it. Can you see it just helps it curve round but also stand out? And then I should have some clouds. So I've got one that I'm going to put here, and again I'm going to curve it round just with the other side. You could do that with a pencil if you haven't got a bone folder. That is going to go there. And then there is another cloud, but I can't find it, because you always should do threes. Oh, there it is. There's a cloud, and I'm just going to overlap that somewhere, just there. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on that, and that's just going to be floating there. just so that it goes off the back piece. And that is it, apart from the propeller. So let's have a look. Have our ta-da. Ready? Ta-da! What do you think? A simple bendy card made wow. I hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial and you've had fun along the way. If you make one of these cards, please do share a picture. You can shop the products I use with me at createdtheottaway.co.uk. Thanks for watching.